Nice. You did it.
That's burning really well.
That's perfection.
Danke.
Bitte.
So speaking of green leaves hanging upside down,
The man.
segue.
The green man.
Expert segue into the green man.
What a wild thing.
Yeah, literally. In some cases,
That's a good, yeah.
represents wildness.
I didn't mean a pun, but yeah. Yeah, it's very, well, what's so, like, fascinating about it is as you, like, research it, it's, like, it's more and more, like, there's so much ambiguity behind
Yeah.
the story or, like, his, like, personality or who he actually is. You know, is it just a picture of an idea? I don't necessarily, like, I mean, okay, so did it start in paganism? I know it's very Celtic as well.
Oh, it's very ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's pre-Christian for sure.
Yes.
If
yeah.
that's what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I definitely know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it's in the Celtic cultures and then pagan and
Egyptian, Osiris is usually depicted as having green skin, and he kind of
Oh, I
represents.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like the offspring of God, kind of. He's like the avatar of God. He's kind of like, I mean, Osiris and Horus kind of get mixed a little bit, but sort of like the Jesus or like the Messiah of the Egyptian culture was Osiris. Maybe Horus in the later Egyptian era, he kind of took over for Osiris. But yeah, he was kind of like the Messiah figure. Osiris was murdered by his brother Set and then was reborn later. Came back from the underworld.
Yeah.
Resurrected.
And then the other thing that I was seeing, I don't know if you know this, but there was like, it almost seemed like it was like either one and the same or two different people, but there's like the Green Man and then I forget the other name, but they're like a horned.
Oh, Carnunos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Figure.
Yeah. They're related, maybe even the same thing, yeah.
Okay, just through like different cultures, it maybe got named a little differently or something.
Yeah.
And I never knew like about like the horn thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, he's kind of like the Pan figure,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay.
Yeah, and the horns are just symbols of virility.
Pan.
You know, like
Pan?
like a pan flute. He's like that greenish god. He has like goat legs and hooves, and horns, and it's where like the word pan comes from, like global pan.
Oh shit!
Because Pan is like the god of the whole world.
Like Pangea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like all around. So like Pan is like the sort of all-encompassing masculine spirit of the earth. Like, you know, if the earth itself is feminine, the like dude that runs around it is the masculine aspect who sort of just exists everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, pantheism everywhere.
Oh,
like
yeah.
thinking God is everywhere type of an idea.
And he impregnates Mother Earth every spring.
Every spring.
And then when he's not doing the dirty, he's ferrying souls to the other side.
Usually Pan will. In the Greek tradition, they have obviously they've kind of separated the idea. You have Chiron, the ferryman, and he's been kind of separated out from the Green Man, who in the Greek tradition was just a forest spirit. But in the Celtic tradition, he's related not only to Cernunnos, but Cernunnos is like shadow, which is known as Gwyn, who is the king of the wild hunt, or the lord of the ghosts, that sort of thing. So like he has these two sides of his personality, where one is like an overworld forest spirit, and another is like an underworld dude who hangs out with dead people.
Bringer of life and death.
Yeah. And yeah, it's traditionally taught that that's like the same entity. They usually refer to them, like if you look up a book of mythology, Cernunnos and Gwyn will be seen as two completely distinct entities. But if you listen to the oral tradition of people who still speak Gaelic these days, which is more and more uncommon, they usually will refer to both of them interchangeably as the same entity, which makes more sense to me. Like, because vegetation dies in the winter and is reborn in the spring, and that's part of the symbolism. So it would make sense that he is the sort of avatar of both of those realms. That it's not two separate entities, but one and the same, just two sides of the same coin. Yeah, but you can find references to Green Man everywhere. I mean, you look at
on churches.
Yeah, above the doors of churches everywhere. There's like that dude with the leafy beard, and he's just kind of there. Nobody ever talks about it. He's just sort of there. And tour guides. I had a tour guide in England who I asked when I was like 18 years old, and he had no idea. He just said it was like for decoration. And I was like, oh, this guy's an idiot. I was like, seriously? Like, you think it's just decoration?
You like pulled him aside and was like, do you want me to do this?
I know, right?
I could do this for you.
I was tempted.
Do you want me to?
I just let it go. I was like, oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah. Decoration. I'm sure cathedral builders, master masons were just doing things for decoration on the holiest buildings in your city. Just for decoration.
Just for the frills.
Yeah.
That's just the frills.
They just thought it looked cool.
Yeah. So, I have some quotes.
Oh, yeah. We forgot to open with your famous quotes.
Yeah, well, soft open.
Yeah. We broke tradition.
Nah. This one, I like this one. It's, the mountains are my bones, the rivers are my veins, the forests are my thoughts, and the stars are my dreams. The ocean is my heart, its pounding is my pulse. The songs of the earth write the music of my soul.
Wow. The Green Man wrote that, I imagine?
It
sounds like the Green Man wrote it.
Yeah, it was pre-typewriter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Quill. I think it was a quill.
Nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the guy who wrote it?
No.
Oh, what a shame.
Inspirational quotes. 230 of the best. What? Revenge is living well ideas. I don't know what.
But yeah, that's that reminds me of like the higher aspect of the Green Man.
Yeah.
There's like, are you familiar with the concept of the Ascended Masters? That word is thrown around a lot in theosophy and New Age thinking.
Vaguely.
It's like people who used to be human beings and then became spiritually enlightened and then moved on to like another type of higher life. And now
a different realm.
Yeah.
And can still like kind of contact.
Yeah. They like help humans in whatever way. There's one guy, Ascended Master, named Sanat Kumara. And the folklore goes that that's actually the picture that Michelangelo painted on the ceiling. You know, the Yahweh or Jehovah, like God. You know, he's like reaching out, touching Adam's finger. That's actually a depiction of Sanat Kumar that Michelangelo apparently knew about somehow, what he looked like, and painted him. But he's from...
That guy was pretty good with the brush.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. Could have used some work on his textures and coloring, but no, just kidding. But they say, there's the Sufis who pointed that out. That looks like Sanat Kumar because they have visions of him, and he's from their tradition from way long ago, before even Islam existed. You know, Sanat Kumar is from like, I think like 2000 BC or something is when he was a human. But they say that he gets called the Green Man. He kind of is like, he directs a lot of stuff that goes on in the world. He's sort of like an earth god. And he gets associated with the Green Man a lot. And he's like an ascended master. And it's sort of like the way Christians think of what you would call Jehovah. Like the bearded man in the sky type god. That's Green Man, according to Sufi lore.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's like the sky god, the father sky type archetype that interacts with matter.
But I kind of like the idea that he's like of the earth, as opposed to it's like, some dude like flying around in the sky. It's like, no, he is of the earth. He is, it makes more sense to me on some level.
They say he came from Venus.
Oh,
There was at least, the Theosophists say that he was like some interdimensional being who came from Venus. Oh no, the
didn't know
Japanese.
that.
This is the Japanese tradition of Sanat Kumar.
So,
They have a Kurama
what is it?
mountain.
Isn't it men are from Mars?
Women are from Venus.
Yeah, and then what's the rest of the?
I think that was just the name of like a book from the 60s. But it is rooted in occult tradition that Mars is the planet of masculinity and Venus is the planet of femininity.
Yeah,
Like
men are from Mars, women are from Venus because they don't have a penis.
Oh, right. There's that. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Wasn't there like a joke?
Yeah,
like
there is a
that?
joke. There is a rhyme. Yeah, I can't remember that.
It was like when you're in 6th grade.
Yeah. Yeah, but the Japanese believe Sanat Kumar came from Venus in like some sort of interdimensional spaceship, then incarnated as a human, was a type of messiah figure, and then became an ascended master. And now the Sufis associate with him with being the Green Man. They say like he can be seen dressed in green out in the desert for like lost wanderers. He'll find lost wanderers and bring them home. He also like initiates people into spirituality who don't belong to like an order or a religious system, don't have like a spiritual master, like the lone spiritual seeker who doesn't have a master. He'll initiate them into the spiritual mysteries. And he acts kind of like a trickster. He's like childish at excuse me, he's childish at times and fucks with people like the trickster spirits are wont to do. And he's always seen dressed in green, and the medieval Europeans had the same thing, like the alchemists of the late medieval and early Renaissance period have written a bit about men in green cloaks that would teach people spiritual mysteries, and that's probably why they're on their cathedrals, because it was like a secret. They didn't really talk about it, but they're like, if, a church is a spiritual place, but there's an esoteric aspect to it that if you talk about it, you'll probably get killed by the church, the Catholic Church, because they're the ones commissioning this architecture. So they kind of just hid it in there. They're like, all the architects were like, well, we were initiated by these men who wear green. They're the ones who taught us all this stuff, taught us spirituality, philosophy, architecture, art, science, all that stuff. We were taught by men who wear these green cloaks. And so it's like, and the way they describe these men is kind of like really weird. Like they'll say they'll just disappear. Like they'll be talking to these men, and then they'll look away for a second, and then the man will be gone.
What?
And then they'll like the next time they'll see him will be like a few years later, and they'll just like show up in their bedroom randomly at night. Like no one broke in or unlocked a door or anything, and there's like a dude in a green cloak like talking to a philosopher.
Getting chills.
Yeah, it's like
goose pimples.
Yeah, and it's hard to find written accounts of this stuff. You have to know people who know it. It's like an oral tradition, and it's a lot of people in France, Germany, and England keep these stories, and they'll talk about them if you ask. Like, I learned it in a museum in Britain. A guy told me about it, and like I asked for books and stuff, and he just kind of laughed. He's like, "You're not gonna find it in books."
So bizarre about the whole Green Man thing as well. It's like I was saying before, like it's kind of hard to like research on some level, which is like weird. And you can get there's like a couple cool things on YouTube, people talking about it. A lot of times it's a little like convoluted, not to like shit on anything, but it's a little like strange. But it definitely seems like for some reason it's mainly an oral tradition of the lore of the Green Man.
Yeah.
And most people don't even know about it. And they see it on buildings every other day. Like all this guy is like, oh, it's just the frilly stuff.
Yeah. It's right under everyone's nose.
It's like, whoa, that's like some heavy like symbolism right there. You don't even know what that is. You're the tour guide. Damn, bro. Yeah.
And like middle-aged women will put like a green copper, like they'll put his face in their garden, you know, or like on the garden fence.
Oh, so
and they don't even know why. They just bought it at like a hobby shop and put it in their garden.
Oh, it's flower face.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that was another thing. I'm trying to remember the details of it, but I guess like every deity might have like specific elements that are part of their shtick, you know? And apparently what I was reading was the Green Man is copper.
Yeah,
It like generates him, and also because it
turns green.
it patinas and turns green. So then I got off on like this like crazy like esoteric mental spiral thinking about symbols.
Oh yeah, like drum cymbals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ding 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 ding.
CYM.
Yeah, CYM.
Not SY.
CY is because like I work on cymbals, hammer cymbals, and do patinas and all this stuff, and like the cymbal is like the ride cymbal is like the most sacred like piece of the drum set to me. That and the bass drum. As above, so below. That's a Green Man thing, I think, right?
Funny. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like because matter generates energy, and like it was interesting in the research to see that like copper is like his element or whatever.
Yeah. You can also use copper to protect your garden from slugs, and Green Man likes green things that grow.
No shit.
Yeah, slugs hate copper.
What do you do? Like toss a couple pennies?
I mean, you could.
Pre 90,
Yeah, just
pre 99, whatever. 80s pennies.
pre 80s pennies. Yeah, more copper content. Or you could just get like copper tape and bury it around the perimeter of your garden.
Oh shit!
And slugs won't cross. Or you can get treated wood, because it's usually treated with
like pressure treated.
Yeah, pressure treated wood is treated with copper azoate.
Get out! That's what's in pressure treated wood. I thought it was just like a chemical.
No, well, I mean it is. It's atomized copper. It's just copper. Yeah.
What? I did not know that.
It used to be like arsenic. But
yeah, that's bad for you.
Then the government was like, yeah, you're gonna poison yourself with that shit. So they started just using
these deck builders are dropping like flies out here, man.
Why is every contractor getting cancer? So they started using copper azoate like 20 years ago, and now like I built my garden fence and my plot liners with pressure treated wood. For that reason, because it helps keep slugs away. Slugs won't crawl on it.
I didn't know that about pressure treated. I mean, I know anything outside you want to use pressure treated, but I didn't know it's got.
Yeah, it's just extremely fine copper that they just mix with water and just pressurize a chamber and it just gets in there. And it's called azoate. It essentially just means atomized, like extremely fine pieces of copper, like more powdered. Like if you powdered powder, like you blow it in the air and you can't even see it. It's so small.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it protects gardens, and Green Man is like the Lord of Gardens.
Yeah, and he's Mr. Copper.
Yeah. Interesting connections.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, I have another one.
Cool.
At the center of the universe, I stand between the worlds above, the worlds below. I stand firm, I hold my way. Wherever my steps are led, in the harmonious unity of the worlds within and worlds without. It's still very, like, out there. It's like, what are you saying? I'm here, I'm there.
Yeah.
I'm up, I'm down.
Green Man is very liminal.
I'm in and out. Liminal?
Like between spaces.
Yeah.
Like, the shoreline is a liminal space between the land and the ocean, that sort of thing. The horizon would be a liminal space between the ground and the sky.
Yeah.
Anything that's like an in-between. And humans exist in a liminal state. We're between earth and spirit. We live in the world of the visible and the invisible at the same time. And Green Man being sort of like the prototypical human, like the blueprint of what a human is, and the essence of what like an enlightened human is, like the perfected human or whatever, the god of humans, is extremely liminal, but like, exists as an earth being and a spirit being simultaneously, and exists in both those worlds. And yeah, Green Man is like the most liminal entity in folklore, probably the most betwixt and between type of guy. And that's where the trickster lives too. Like, trickster phenomena occurs in very liminal spaces. Like if a person is moving, let's say from an old house to a new house or something, during that phase, it's a liminal phase. You're not living in your one place. You're like moving into another place. You're like between places. You're in between phases of your life. You can have more paranormal phenomena occurring in your life in that case. Like when people hit puberty, it's a liminal phase between childhood and adulthood. There's a lot of trickster and paranormal phenomena that can happen to teenagers. When you go to college, same thing. You're like moving away for the first time. There's a lot of paranormal phenomena that happens to those types.
Because there's like a level of vulnerability.
Yeah, there's vulnerability. There's kind of like lifting your anchor up and floating and not really knowing where you're going to land. And this creates opportunity for non-normal things to happen.
Yeah.
And it's usually a good thing. I mean, depending on the person, people can have bad reactions to liminal phases in their lives, but creating that opportunity for essentially an initiation into a new way of life, a new way of seeing the world. And the Green Man or the trickster spirits will take advantage of that, for better or worse, usually for better. And yeah, like being in a liminal phase opens up a door. And if you don't belong to like a religious system or a spiritual order, if you don't have like a guru and you enter into a liminal phase, then there are like non-human gurus who will be like, oh, I can help this person now. Like this person is open. Like I can initiate this masterless person. Like this person has no guidance, no direction. I can enter. They've just opened a door. I can enter their life now and initiate them into the spiritual mysteries. There's like an opportunity there. And yeah, the Green Man is probably the best at taking advantage of those opportunities with, and how he interacts with humans. He likes to find humans that are in liminal phases and go to them and help them out. How the Sufis think, finding lost wanderers in the desert, which is mostly just a metaphor. Although I did read one account where apparently it literally happened. A guy was literally lost and a man dressed in green brought him to the closest city. Get out. Yeah, it's like some medieval Arabic tale.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
So he's got like cronies, you think?
I don't know. I'm not sure. He may just be able to like bilocate, like just exist in many bodies at once.
Okay.
In many different places at once.
So this kind of lines up with that. He will call you out, make you sweat, give you a blessing that you'll never forget. So revel in the chase and let your heart beat run. Blessed are the children of the horned one.
Oh, yeah. Carnunos.
That's Carnoon. Yeah, it says Carnunos, yeah.
Yeah. Or Pan.
So that's like that's pagan.
Mm-hmm. Well, pagan just means one who dwells in the country.
For real?
Yeah. It doesn't really mean anything religious.
A lot of people are afraid of that word.
Oh, I know.
Oh, the pagans.
Yeah, it just means... Because, when you live in a city...
Black metal gave it a bad name. They gave it a bad rap. Yeah. They were a little aggressive with it.
A little aggressive with it, yeah.
We live in the woods.
Yeah.
Also, let's burn that church down. Right. Fucking idiots. Yeah. What are you doing?
It's just because they
contradictory.
Yeah. Pagans, or people who lived outside of cities, were just much more difficult to convert to Catholicism because they didn't live amongst people.
Oh, fuck. Like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. In a city, you've got town criers, businesses, you've got like all this communications infrastructure. So if you have a new ideology, it's easy to convert a bunch of people who live in cities.
Flyers up.
Yeah.
At the CVS.
Come to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
But people who like just own a farm out in like bumblefuck nowhere, and like some Catholic missionary comes by and is like, you want to join my church? And it's like,
do you want to smoke my shotgun? How about you get out of here, bud?
Exactly.
Who the hell are you?
So, like, country dwellers were the ones who were not converted, and it's literally just Latin for country dweller, pagan.
Huh.
And, yeah, we see the same thing today. I mean, people in cities just do what the governments and corporations tell them to do, and people who live in the country are like, fuck off!
Yeah.
And, like, you see that happening where, like, people in cities are like, people who don't live in cities are politically evil, they're deplorable, and they don't get vaccines, and they're stupid, and we're better because we live in cities. And it's like, damn, this is the Catholic Church all over again.
Yo, it's crazy.
It's like, it's the difference between the city dwellers and the pagans.
Yeah, I feel like Texas is more of a, like, fuck off, and Florida's more of, like, I'm old, I don't care anymore. Leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not even a fuck off, it's just like, I don't
give a shit.
I've already done enough.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm like a goblin.
About to get swallowed by the Atlantic. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know pagan is just Latin for
country dweller.
Well, I mean, but again, that is the Green Man in general, right? It's like he's is of the earth and like, you know, forests and like not cement parking lots.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
that meditative like state where you're just like much more connected with like your environment and your surroundings and nature and the ebb and flow of life, which, you know, is daily. And in cities you get very disconnected or insensitive to that type of thing. I mean, you know, it's like you could even just look at it as, you know, it's so easy to just see like a bunch of roadkill on your drive somewhere and you're just like, look at that bloated piece of shit, you know, like you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's life. That's dead, and you're looking at its rotting corpse.
Yeah.
But if it was a human, it'd be like, oh god. Oh god.
Yeah.
It's like, why does that life not matter? Oh, because you're accustomed to that flow of society in a city where it's like, oh, I don't have the time to worry about something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got appointments. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to eat my muffin this morning. Damn it. You know.
Didn't have my coffee.
Yeah, it's like
my coffee.
Yeah.
You know, people always say that. My coffee.
Yeah, my coffee.
I didn't get my coffee. Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee.
Yeah.
Like, damn, this guy's like really needs coffee. He owns it all apparently.
He didn't even get it, and he still owns it.
It's like his coffee's out there
sitting somewhere on a
guys.
shelf.
His coffee.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Where'd your coffee go? Yeah, nobody really says that about anything else.
Yeah, it's just coffee.
You don't say like, I went out and had my dinner.
Right.
That only if it's like your birthday.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But every morning that cup of coffee is your birthday.
Yeah. Gotta have it. Like my wedding. That's like the only time.
Yeah.
You'll say it.
My wedding.
So it's like your coffee.
Maybe if you're playing a show.
True.
But usually it'll just be like, yeah, like I'm playing a show.
Yeah.
You don't say like, it's my show.
My show.
Even then, that's like maybe once a year, twice a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, even if you're headlining, you're probably not going to be like, come to my show. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on if you're like trying to invite someone and you just want to quickly say that you're playing. You just say my show.
Yeah. I'd
Instead
be
of
like,
saying,
I'm playing like a big show and I'm excited about it. You want to
Yeah.
come out?
Yeah. Or you could just say, want to come to my show this weekend?
True. Yeah.
You just save like 6 syllables.
You could use it there. True.
It's just to save time.
I don't do that. I always say too much.
Yeah. No, I mean, details are important.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Green Man
Yeah, we spiraled. Do you have one?
won't show up to people who are so busy like that, who don't have time for his presence.
We have been here long before your new age religions. We will still be here long after all other religions fail. Because we worship something real, alive, and breathing. The earth, the sky, the oceans, the sun, and ourselves. There are more of us than you think, and we will still be here to save you when your faith shakes.
Who wrote that? Some like Wiccan?
Which quote? Which
Yeah.
pagan quote? Yeah, that one's like a little aggressive.
Yeah, I would
It's a little
disagree.
aggressive.
I would disagree with it too.
Yeah, it's like,
It's like,
you kind of sound a little insecure.
yeah, exactly. I find most witches are just pissed off feminists. Just throwing that out there. Hey, I've experienced a lot of witches in my time.
I don't know anybody. I'm sure they're probably not going to watch this anyway.
Yeah, it's highly doubtful.
You just shit on so many people.
Oh, I know it. I know
You
it.
just like really shit on so many people. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, no. You know who you are.
Oh, don't even do that. Why are you digging a hole, man?
Just fucking with them.
Do you have any salt? Throw over your witch
Oh, I got my
shoulder?
stainless steel knife.
Burn some more sage. They're gonna
I call upon the Archangel Michael
we're gonna get schmited.
to remove any energies and entities who get
doing that.
between me and my divine path.
Are there feminist witches?
Like 85% of them.
We just lost like
Hey, if they don't have a sense of humor about it, they're in the wrong craft. And they deserve to be fucked
or
with.
YouTube channel.
Yeah. Hey, if they synchronistically got brought here, then maybe they're supposed to hear this shit.
That's true. That's an interesting like thing about life, right? It's like Well, that's kind of the quote where he's like, what did it say? It's like you have like hearing the shit you don't want to hear.
Oh yeah. I call you out or something.
Yeah. Where the fridge?
Yeah, got to deal with your shadow, the parts of yourself that you don't want to admit exist.
Oh, he will call you out, make you sweat, give you a blessing you'll never forget.
There you go.
It's a little like rhymey, but
Yeah.
it makes sense. I mean, that was my experience anyway. Have you ever had like any like meditative Green Man experiences?
Green Man. I don't think I've had any that were directly and obviously Green Man related. I would say no, just not obvious ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you have.
Yeah, I had like a bombshell, and it was before I even knew anything about it. Like I had never even heard of it. Like I thought it was just a cute thing in your garden, cute copper thing to put in your garden. Like I had no idea. And I had the craziest fucking experience like ever. And I explained it to like my shaman afterwards. He goes, "Oh shit, you met the Green Man." And I was like, "The who?"
The Green Man.
He's like, "Look it up."
The guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Yeah, he was doing all these weird dances and popping out of garbage cans and stuff.
I think he might have been on acid.
Oh no, that's Oscar the Grouch. Never mind.
He's the Green Man too.
Yeah.
Well, there is some symbolism there.
Oh, you think?
Oh yeah.
Because the garbage can? Mm-hmm. And he's always like talking shit.
Yeah. I want to come back to your experience.
Okay. Yeah.
But just real quick, it's like the Philip K. Dick idea. He's a science fiction writer who's also like this crazy mystic. But it's the idea of like God in the trash. That like, you know, Philip K. Dick had this strong belief like you won't find God in a church or in a nice place. Like you'll find it in a candy wrapper in the sewer. You'll like be walking around and there'll be a half crushed soda can and it will have a message from God in it. Or you'll be watching some trashy TV show and the next advertisement will be God speaking to you. And like you got to look for God in the trash.
Whoa.
And you know, Green Man being underground all the time, or people who want to interact with the Green Man will go into caves or into underground places.
Yep.
And that's associated with, I don't want to say garbage. I don't mean in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I was joking.
But it's where things are recycled. You know, it's where worms eat the dirt and shit more dirt. Like, you know, it's like counterintuitive. People want to like go to a cathedral with vaulted ceilings, which is great for certain things. But they forget to they forget to look down sometimes.
Yeah.
And the Green Man is like, he's hiding right under everybody's nose, you know? Yeah. But
What was I going to say? Shit, I had a thought. So Philip K. Dick. Wait, what's the nickname for Philip?
Phil, right?
Is it just Phil?
Yeah. Is there another nickname? I think it's just Phil.
That's still funny.
Yeah.
Phil K. Dick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's my favorite writer, sci-fi fiction writer, anyway.
I have too many nasty jokes.
But you were in a drum circle one day.
Well, we did like the shamanic drum meditation. Mm-hmm. Well, we first did like a half an hour like chakra alignment thing. What's that called? I guess that's what that's called.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few different styles. What was the practice?
It was just like a half an hour of like guided like vocal meditation.
Vocal. So you were saying something? Oh, he was
the shaman.
He was
it was like
guiding.
me and like 4 other people, and then going through all of our chakras.
Like describing what they look like and stuff?
Kind of, yeah. Okay. And like what the energy is, just kind of like bringing us through our chakras, like kind of like grounding ourselves and stuff. And then we did like, I want to say it was like a 45-minute long shamanic drum meditation where before we started, he told us like what we needed to do, but not what was going to happen or what we were really thinking about. It was just like he described like the starting point of what you need to focus on. So if I go into complete detail, I started out like whatever the drums like dum 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 dum. just like for 45 minutes, whatever. And like once I like kind of like left my like overthinking brain and was like in a thing, I found myself in a trench in a field, and there was a big yellow tree in the distance, and the field was like hella like super green, and I started digging with this like shovel, and like the deeper I got, the more complex my tools became. Like then I had like a drill, and then I had like an auger, and then eventually I was like sitting on this machine that had like armrests and like levers and all this stuff with a huge auger, and just like going down into the earth like craziness, right? Like where's this shit coming from in my brain? And that like turned into like this cacophonous like noise in my brain, and then it like kind of shut off, and like in my mind's eye, I reopened my eyes, and I was sitting in a chair in a huge like cavern with multiple tunnels coming in and out of it. It was like super dark, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, what the hell? And then next thing I know, there was this being standing in front of me that's like 7 foot tall, but weighs like 600 pounds, but like chiseled, not like fat, like just ripped out of its mind. But like I could feel the weight on the ground of how heavy this like being was, and it was just a shadow though, you know. And then an arm reached out from the shadow, and it was covered with vines and leaves, and put its palm on my forehead. And like my whole face and body was started like vibrating like crazy. It was like the most intense energy, grounding, strong, powerful, solid feeling ever. And then like the bell starts ringing at the end of the drum thing to like bring you back out. And like I'm like, what the fuck? And I look over at my shaman, and he goes, bro. I'm like, what? He's like, you just received a shit ton of energy to your face. That's the first thing he said to me. I didn't even say a word.
Wow.
And I was like, what? How do you know that? He's like, your face is like... We were sober. Like, I was like 19 or something.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he's like a little older than me, but his mom is a shaman as well. So like he kind of grew up in it. Mm-hmm. And then I explained to him my experience, and he told me what the whole Green Man thing is. And I'm like, wait, you know about this? He's like, yeah, just Google it. Everything that you experience, it's like it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Get out, really? And then I've been obsessed with it ever since. And it's like, so in hindsight, right? What do we call it? It's like the spirit watcher.
Mm-hmm. The soul watcher, I think he called it.
Soul watcher, yeah. Spirit watcher, spirit carrier. Mm-hmm. That was the point of the meditation. He didn't tell us that.
Oh, right. Oh, he didn't tell you.
In the beginning.
But it was the purpose behind it.
Yeah, digging into the earth, or it's like if you picture ocean, swim, like whatever it is that comes to you, try to infiltrate it. Mm-hmm. You know? Very, very interesting shit.
Yeah. Vitriol.
Extremely powerful. And that's what's so crazy about that quote, too, is like, it's like, leave you a memory or a lesson you'll never forget. A blessing you'll never forget. Yeah, it was a blessing, all right? Because like I forget specifically what it was, but he said there's some significance to the palm on the forehead versus the back of the head. Mm-hmm. And he was in front of me and put it on my forehead.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Well, you have the Agna chakra, which is usually interacted with on the front of the head, and then the crown chakra would be on the back of the head.
Oh, okay.
The Agna chakra is like vision. That's like what helps you see beyond what the 5 physical senses can see. Like what you could call clairvoyance, clairaudience, unlocking intuition, and being able to interact better with the invisible world. Yeah.
Yeah, my spiritual healer always tells me that I need to spend more time in my own body.
Yeah, because it supplements the spiritual activity. If you neglect the physical, the spiritual will also become a little disorganized.
Yeah, and it's so easy to just like jump into other like things. Well, for me, I guess, for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is definitely very unorganized.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't stay grounded, it can be easy to get lost in like fantasy, or to just go from subject to subject and only hitting the surface of certain spiritual topics instead of getting deep into one. You kind of get a little bit of a bunch, which can be good for a lot of things. You learn what you're interested in, what excites you, what you want to learn. But then when you do find the thing you want to learn, you want to ground yourself and then stick with it so you can get deep into it.
Oh, cool.
And that sometimes literally just like going for a run, eating greasy food, like just doing something that's super fucking physical.
I like the greasy food part.
Yeah. And then you just get grounded and then you hit the topic. And then you find out like when you've gotten that spiritual interest and then you bring yourself back into your body, you're able to focus and really get deep into a learning experience.
Oh, interesting.
Like a research experience or something. So you don't just float away and, it's like just that interaction between the physical and the spiritual that creates a wholeness. But that's related to an old alchemical phrase called vitriol. It's an acronym, VITRIOL. It stands for a Latin phrase, which is Visita Interiora Terra Invenius. I lost my train of thought.
You're Latin?
Yeah. Whoa, my brain turned off.
Try it again.
Visita Interiora Terra Rectificando Invenius Occultum Lapidum, which means visit the interior of the earth, and rectifying what you find there, you will discover the hidden stone. And the hidden stone is life force energy, the philosopher's stone, ether, the power that comes from the spirit to transform your reality. And it's an old mystery, like visit the interior of the earth, rectify what you find there, and discover the hidden stone.
Can I take a rock from your yard when I leave today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And there's plenty of rocks. This neighborhood is called Rock Ridge, so you won't have trouble finding one.
This is the place to get it.
This is the place to get your rocks.
That's so interesting. Yeah, because I mean, when I felt like I was in the middle of the earth.
Yeah, it sounds like you went there.
I was in like a fucking crazy, like it was like a dome cavern.
Yeah.
With tunnels coming in and out. And I was sitting in a chair in the middle of it, like by myself.
Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with Hyperborea or Agartha? Have you heard those terms? Okay. No. The folklore is that they're long lost civilizations. The
ones inside the earth?
That's where they went. They say that Agartha or Hyperborea, they're kind of interchangeable terms, probably referring to the same culture or society, or what I think might not be a totally physical place, but more of a non-physical place, like an interdimensional space. And they say he's ruled this place is ruled by a large green king. And this tradition can be found in Tibet, in Mongolia, the Sufis. There's a French alchemist who talked about it, and some Native Americans from New Mexico who disappeared one day. They had this legend.
You think they went into I
don't know.
They just disappeared?
Yeah. I can't remember what they were called. It's really popular to talk about, especially people who are like into alien theory and stuff love talking about this culture of people from New Mexico. I can't freaking remember the name, but it's a famous culture of Native Americans that are easy to look up. But they left a lot of stories behind. They interacted with a lot of other Native Americans, so their oral traditions are relatively well preserved. And it's why you can't go into certain caves in the Grand Canyon and stuff like that. Like the government literally won't let you.
What?
Yeah. It's illegal to enter certain caves in the Grand Canyon. There are signs and everything.
You have like gold in there too?
Probably. There's a story that someone found Greek and Egyptian tombs in the Grand Canyon.
No
filled with treasure.
Way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A book that I read in the 1870s. I didn't read it in the 1870s. It was published in the 1870s.
I didn't know you were that old.
I'm 190. Talked about an Egyptian tomb and a Greek tomb that were found in the Grand Canyon. And then...
what book is this?
Oh, god damn.
This stuff is like proven?
No, it's not proven.
Oh.
No. But this was
covered up.
Yeah. It was an archaeologist. I read it so long ago.
So the Egyptians were like... world travelers. They must
Yeah.
have had like spaceships and stuff.
I mean, have you seen those hieroglyphs in
Where they have like helmets on.
Yeah, that was a Mayan one, I think.
Oh yeah.
There's a weird hieroglyph that it looks like an airplane, and another that looks like a hovercraft.
Yeah.
And these were found in
I did see that.
A temple in Dendera, Egypt, and it just like it doesn't look anything like the other hieroglyphs.
They were shooting over, picking up. They're like, "You want to go over to Grand Canyon, get buffalo for lunch?"
Right. Yeah, it's weird stuff.
And like one pharaoh was like, "You know what? I love the buffalo over there. Like, I'd like to be buried over there instead. Like, bury me in the country.
Yeah.
You know, take me over there.
Yeah.
It'd be a small thing. You know, not everybody has to come.
Mm-hmm.
But bury me in that canyon. I like it. I killed a couple buffalo there, and it was, you know, it was nice. It seems like a peaceful resting place.
Mm-hmm. But this same guy, I'll look it up before you go. But the same guy said that these certain mountains or rock formations in the Grand Canyon, excuse me, are actually artificial structures like pyramids. Now, a lot of people don't believe that for obvious reasons, but this archaeologist did. And it's funny because these rock formations are called like the Temple of Isis and the Temple of Osiris. It's like that's the name that the government gave them when they turned it into a national park. So it's like, that's such a weird thing to call in the middle of the United States.
Wait, which national park?
The Grand Canyon.
Oh.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon's not just the canyon, it's like a full-on park.
Oh, yeah, it's like a giant, enormous rock.
Like you can go see animals and stuff there. It's not just a canyon.
Yeah, it's enormous.
I've never been there.
Yeah, oh man, you should go.
I want to really bad.
It's beautiful.
I thought about just driving there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place, man. But they have these strange places named like that. But, yeah.
I don't know why. It made me think of Petra.
Yeah, it's extremely similar to Petra. Petra, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
I've never actually heard an Arab say it, so I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah. I just seen Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
My friend went to Petra, whatever, recently. He said it was like jaw-dropping. Like it was insane.
I'm afraid to go there.
Because
all the hauntings and stuff.
I love that shit. I want to go so bad.
Just respect the place.
Yeah.
Apparently Steven Spielberg didn't respect it and his whole crew got sick.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they do?
They were just noisy and they didn't do any like spiritual, they didn't burn incense or give offerings and like temple offerings. They just sort of went in and started filming and they spent a couple weeks camping out there. Whoa. And like half of them were just like violently ill.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite Indiana.
Yeah, mine too. Last Crusade.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because the night is like so cool. Mm-hmm. And then also it's got like the greatest scene Sean Connery ever shot in his entire life.
Which scene?
When he's running down the beach with the umbrella going...
And then he recites like some Tennyson poem.
Yeah. That's the greatest piece of film he ever made in his entire life. I don't give a fuck what you say. That's the greatest thing he's ever done. His finest scene.
Yeah. Or was it Genesis that he was quoting? And the birds and the beasts of the sea and the air.
Oh, you're really good at that. Damn. I didn't know you could do his accent.
But you see how Osiris is depicted. Here, we circled back.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Egyptian tomb, Osiris is always usually depicted as having green skin, and he's also very, very tall in all the carvings, like compared to other people.
Yeah, I didn't know he was depicted as green skinned.
And like he went to the underworld, you know, and survived it, and now he's like the ruler of the underworld. And it makes you wonder, you know, when people have experiences like yours and they see a giant green man underground.
Dude.
So it's Osiris.
It was seriously one of the top 3 most profound experiences I've ever had, like, in my life.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like it.
It was some trippy trip.
Yeah, some seriously trippy trip. You met the king of Shambhala.
Dude, it took me a while to remember where I was.
Yeah, like when you came back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, we did it like in my basement. I have like a finished basement.
Mm-hmm. Was it just you and him?
No, me and 4 other people.
4 other people.
We did it like with the band I was in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We were doing it kind of like as like a blessing among the band.
Oh, cool.
Kind of thing. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
everybody had wildly different experiences.
Yeah. Neat.
I think my friend Matt, who's a bass player, I think he just like, in retrospect, this is crazy because he became a Marine.
Yeah.
I believe his, like, in short, was he said that there was ocean and a giant octopus animal like thing popped out and was attacking him, and he killed it with a machine gun.
Wow.
We were like 19 or 18, and then he ended up going on to become a Marine, and that was the last thing I thought he would have ever done with his life, because he was a total goofball and an amazing bass player.
And he killed an octopus?
It was like a kraken.
Wow.
Tentacles and shit like that, and he killed it with a machine gun because it was trying to kill him.
He has a destiny.
And he became a Marine.
Yeah.
Marine is,
Yeah.
they're sea.
Yeah.
Land and sea.
Land
Isn't
and
that crazy?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty far out.
Yeah. My other dude was a tree.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, bro. I just felt like I was a tree for a long time.
Nice.
And he was just like, well, you're an old soul. And I forget the other one. I forget. His was like really funny. I can't remember. It was a little out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a cool thing. I wish I could remember exactly what the name of that meditation is. I tried to reach out to Armain, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him. He's a busy man. He lives in Florida now.
Oh, wow.
But should I just cold call him?
I'll give it a shot.
I fucking love cold calling people. It's my favorite thing ever.
All right.
Is FaceTime too aggressive?
Maybe. Just don't put my face on it.
Why?
He doesn't know me. It might be a little too much all at once. I don't want to, like, freak
I'm charming
him out.
enough. I don't know if he has face. Oh, what's that? All right, I'm just going to regular call him. He's probably not going to answer. He's probably working.
Yeah. What time is it?
Yeah, where are we at?
We're at an hour.
All right, we'll finish up with this. Do you think? I don't think he's going to.
Hello?
Armain?
Hi, Tom. What's up, man?
Hi, you're on a podcast with me right now.
I'm on a podcast. What's up, man?
Is that okay?
Oh, it's all right. I don't have a lot of time. It's all right.
Yeah, just a few minutes because we're running out of time as well. So timing is clean.
So what's good?
So the whole cast that we're doing today, we're talking about the Green Man.
Okay.
And you're like my phone in for expertise on such topics.
Oh, well, that's okay. So, what you want to talk about the Green Man, or you would like to summarize it?
Yeah, like maybe if you just want to say like a sentence or two about it, or a quote, or like your perception on it, maybe.
Yeah, I'll give you my perception. That's pretty cool.
That'd be awesome.
All right, yeah. So, the Green Man, to me, honestly, is a man that works with nature. Kind of like a feminine nature, but with a masculine focus. So all the little jobs that most women get, yeah, the hunter, the gatherer, the cooker, the shaman, kind of stuff like that. Things that really are like, not everything you would really assume a man does, but it does great. So the Green Man kind of just changes things, right?
I love that. Yeah, so it's like taking on any responsibility that's not necessarily put on by regular standards of society. Just what is necessary to be done properly.
Exactly. Yeah. With a masculine focus, right?
Yeah. Because he's got a big old ding dong.
Big old ding dong. Yeah, this ding dong got to be a part of that. That's the Green Man, or just the Mother Nature at that point, right?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, because like Mother Nature is definitely there, and you got to be in tune with that in the first place to be a Green Man. So that's not separated at all. It's kind of a thing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but yeah. I wasn't hitting with that. I'm just cooking me some pork right now and making a nice roast and everything. And I love cooking, so that's kind of ironic because I'm right now being my Green Man. It smells delicious in here, I tell you.
Man, I love you so much.
I love you too, Tom. I'm sorry I missed your call before. I was kind of like, work crazy, but, I'm happy that you're doing your thing, man.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. We'll always, timing, like I said, timing always times itself.
Yeah, shoot. But
Well-
hey, I hope that fills in your block right there.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
All right, word. Y'all rock on and all that good stuff. All right.
Enjoy your roast. I'll talk to you tomorrow, maybe.
All right, yeah, hit me up, man.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you too.
Nice.
That was a great insight on it.
Yeah.
To be a green man, you need to be first rooted in feminine energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with a masculine approach.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I'll have to listen back.
Yeah. It makes sense. It's like Tantra.
Yeah.
It's the union.
That's it. I don't know if we can top that now.
No, that was a pretty good clincher right there.
Yeah. I think we're fucking...
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you found that interesting.
Happy New Year.
And thanks for sharing your
Happy New
experience,
Year.
Tom.
Of
Oh, Happy
course.
New Year, everybody.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, until next time.
And of course, I'll always share.
Yeah. It's good to know.
Yeah. Love you.
Love you too.
Yep.
Bye.